Is it official that it's going to be at Home Depot soon?
I don't know. I think it's getting close.
Okay.
I think for sure. Obviously with Dan's brother just dying and whatnot, probably push things back a few days. But he's in the office. He's still working, and hopefully we get a word real soon.
Did you watch Abraham's last fight?
I haven't watched it. My coach watched it, and we talked about it. And when I go to camp, I have plenty enough time too. I don't overanalyze guys. I have 8 weeks in camp to sit down and watch enough tape that I need to watch, and I figure I'll see everything I need to see within that 8-week time. So.
What do you think of the World Series of Boxing? Would you have done this when you were an amateur?
Yeah, I think I would have. You can't beat the fact that these guys are able to make a living. They're getting their medical taken care of, plus living expenses. It's one thing to tell a kid, hey, get off the streets, or not even just the streets, because everybody didn't necessarily come from that background, but hey, just box, just focus on boxing when there's no money in their pocket. The World Series of Boxing, it's allowing these guys to get the best of both worlds, while at the same time keeping their amateur status. So I'm for it, I like it, and I hope they stick with it and finish everything out.
Does it concern you that they're fighting without headgear and they're fighting so frequently?
A little bit. I like the format. I like what's going on, but I'm gonna be real about the situation. These guys are getting hit in the head, and earlier than usual. So, but I don't think it's a deal breaker necessarily, because guys like Sugar Ray Leonard and other guys, they fought in the amateurs without a headgear, and they seem to be just fine. So it's good and bad. There's pros and cons to everything, but I think there's more pros than cons with this World Series of Boxing.
What did you think of the stoppages tonight?
I thought they were excellent. I thought the stoppages came right on time. As soon as my co-host, Alan Massengale, or maybe I'm his co-host, as soon as we started, kind of calling for the ref or the doctor to come in, they came in and stopped it right on time. So they're doing a great job.
This is the second time you commented.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I love it, man. I feel like a lot of people say I'm gonna do it when I'm done boxing. I think I can do it now. It's not a distraction. It's a hobby. I love studying fighters and the specific guys I'm gonna be talking about, and just talking about a sport that I love and I know very well. So it's awesome.
Getting back to Abraham, do you think there's any, I don't hate to be negative, but any bloom off the rose with him, considering his last performance? Do you think for you, is it just business? You got to get through him, get to the final.
Well, if I believe that, and then he comes in and beats me, then shame on me.
Right.
So that being said, I'm not buying into it. They made Kessler out to be a monster, which he is, because Kessler's the beast, but I can't really buy into that either. So I can't get caught up in either extreme. A guy's not what he used to be, or he's gonna beat you, because I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm locked in, and I like using that term because that's kind of the best way I can describe myself. I'm focused on May 14th, putting on a great performance, and if it is Home Depot, he's gonna have a lot of Armenians in the building. There's gonna be a lot of Americans in the building, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. How do you like being the front runner, the favorite in the tournament?
Well, I look at it like this. I wasn't the front runner when I came in.
That was Kessler.
Yeah, I wasn't, and it was the co-favorite was Abraham. So a lot of people, media fans, they looked at me and my friend Andre Durrell is like, guys that are just going to kind of come in and spice it up, but there's no way we should be in the semifinals or the finals. So it kind of feels good.
There's a certain pleasure in proving people wrong, right? Just
Yeah,
like the Olympics.
I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but internally it feels good. If I listened to everything everybody said about what I can't do, I wouldn't be this far. I was told that I'm not even going to medal. I didn't have the experience. I was told that I didn't have a chin when I first turned pro. I was told a lot of things. People are still kind of throwing rocks. I understand it's part of the game. It's thickening up my skin, and I realize that, hey, whether you're for me or against me, I got to do my job when those lights come on. David Alexander and a Timothy Bradley friend. I came up with Tim. Me and Tim fought in the blue and gold when we were younger, and I'm a big fan of Devin Alexander. So I watched the fight. I was like a kid in a candy store, because that was a tremendous matchup.
How's Andre Durrell doing? Is he gonna come?
I've talked to him on Twitter. I haven't talked to him on the phone, but I think he's getting ready to make a comeback.
Prediction for your fight?
A tremendous performance. Andre Ward is trying to take his game to another level in 2011.
What do you think about fans and media who call you a dirty boxer?
It kind of is what it is. When I first started, I wasn't aggressive enough, and I was too amateurish. Now I'm too dirty. It is what it is. I need something to eat on when I'm away from my family for 8 weeks, and I'm a feast on that. Those comments and the things people say, I'm feasting on that. So, to a degree, I like it.
Yeah, in a sense, it's a fight, right? I mean, everybody complains about Tim Bradley's head, your head, the holding. Do you think in some sense we don't know what we're looking at?
I mean, I just think that sometimes people just, for whatever reason, they sit behind the laptop, they sit at home and they just start throwing rocks instead of just appreciating what's going on. It's like I've been on the bad end of headbutts. I mean, it's nothing fun about getting cut. So, I mean, if people just really just kind of stop and say, hey, man, listen, the referees haven't, had to deal with me where it was like, hey, man, you do this every fight. I've had a couple fights back to back where headbutts have been involved, but again, the Miranda fight, I got headbutt. It was a clear headbutt from Miranda. I didn't complain. I continued to fight. The Kessler fight, people want to talk about the headbutts in the later round, but what about the first 10 rounds? So I guess it's just how you look at it.
Right.
Do you read your stuff online, or does your team protect you from all the critics and
No,
haters?
my coach feels like I should read more of it because it highly motivates him, and it motivates me too. I read enough of it. I read enough of it. But I try to be a positive person. I'm not gonna read nonsense all day. But it's not all nonsense. I get a lot of nice things read about me, and I don't want to read too much of that either. So I just try to find a balance with when I read my own press clipping. My dad, he always told me never to read them, so I try not to read too much.
I remember a long time ago I asked you, are you on Twitter? And you said, I'm not going to mess with that. Now you're always on Twitter.
Well,
what's up with that?
I was on Twitter, then I got off of Twitter, and then everybody, my marketing team said, you got to get back on Twitter, so I'm back on Twitter.
Is it really you on Twitter then?
It's me.
It is you.
Andre Ward, yeah.
You answer everybody back.
I try to.
Yeah.
I try to. I can't always do it, but I try to. Thank you.